Happy Saturday, one and all. Welcome into another edition of the Cory Sanning Show. I'm your host, Cory Sanning, yours truly, as always. Sorry about being a day late. Fortunately, I finally had a date night last night with my significant other and her family. It was actually very fun. We went to Storming Crab in West Knoxville because we were both seafood fanatics. And then we went and saw How to Train Your Dragon. She surprised me with that. I'm going to sit here and say I wasn't happy about it at first because I was a cranky, grumpy grouch. But it ended up being a very good movie, and I ended up enjoying myself very much. And I've got someone here who wants to say hi. Say hi to the audience, Webb. This is a part 2 of our thing 1 and thing 2. We actually got a dog on the way that we just adopted today, and we're gonna actually let you all help us pick out the name. So I'm gonna let Savannah take him while I get ready for the show. Got a good show for you today. We're going to be reacting to the Thunder evening up the NBA Finals at 2 games apiece behind Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's obvious strong fourth quarter performance and a great performance from Jalen Williams. And we're also going to be getting to a certain Skip Bayless nickname that has been on my mind for some time that I've wanted to talk about for quite some time. So, excuse me, if you're just now tuning in, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell button so you'll be notified whenever I do my live content and when I start dropping more as well. So before we get into the show today, though, obviously we're going to get into today's sponsor. And today's sponsor is must be 2 kittens because this is thing 2. Say hi to the audience, boo. Never thought I'd be a cat dad, but here I am. And I'm going to hand this one off. You see the hands getting the screen right there. But today's sponsor is actually Parfum Exquise. So Parfum Exquise gives perfume all over the world. They were kind enough to send me a set of pins, which is the Parfum Discovery monthly set. Get 8 perfume samples in one box. So if you'll look into the camera right there, so you got 8 perfume samples, and then I got the I believe this is the Wave Child, if I'm not saying that incorrectly. It's got really strong oceany scent, perfect for going out in the town, perfect for going out to a dinner with your in-laws, perfect for anything that you want. So be sure to go to the website, check them out. Obviously, they got stuff for the ladies and stuff for the men, so can't complain too much when it comes to that because the scents are very good, and even my girlfriend approves of them. So if that says anything to you, then I don't know what else will. So got a heck of a show for you today, and we're going to get right into it. Actually, might spray some of this on real quickly before it even starts. I know it's like a legit endorsement, right? Oh. Wave Child, I was right. So, Parfum Exquise, check them out. Tell them Cory sent you. They'll give you a little bit of a discount. So, getting into the topics today, the Thunder even up the NBA Finals at 2 games apiece behind Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's 35 points. Jalen Williams right behind him with 27. And then you have Alex Caruso, 7 of 9 shooting, 20 points off the bench. To be completely honest, this game for a while was teetering on the ledge because it looked like the Thunder were about to go down 3-1. The Pacers showed up and showed out. What a tough team they are. They proved me wrong from the get-go in this series because I had OKC winning in 5. This Thunder team is historically great, especially on the defensive end, and they have that go-to guy down the stretch. We're going to get into it here in a second, but Indiana doesn't necessarily have that, and I think that's the reason why we're looking at the series being 2-2 heading back to Oklahoma City for a pivotal Game 5 on Monday night that I am so excited for. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 35 points, had 20 through 3 quarters, 15 points in the fourth quarter, and he was really the engine that drove the Thunder down the stretch, as you would expect from the league's most valuable player. But ultimately, I have not been – it's been a long time since I've been shocked, even though I was at a movie during this game and I had to catch up on it afterwards. It's been a long time since I've been truly shocked by the results of a game in the NBA Finals just because of all the results that I've witnessed over the years, being someone that's followed basketball closely for more than a decade, more than 15 years now, honestly. Some of you may laugh at that just because you've been around for a lot longer than I have, but SGA, man, what a player. 15 points in the fourth quarter. The Thunder hit in 2025. The Thunder won a basketball game on the biggest stage, hitting 3 3-pointers. 3. That's all they hit was 3 threes the entire game. And one of them was by SGA, the biggest shot of the night down the stretch that ultimately put the Thunder ahead and sealed the game away. Well, it didn't really seal it, but put them ahead, and they never relinquished the lead. Indiana put forward the valiant effort. They played well enough to win. Pascal Siakam had 20 points and 8 rebounds, and you have Tyrese Halliburton had 18 and 7 assists. And then Obi Toppin contributed with 17 points and 7 rebounds off the bench. They had a 4-point lead leading down the stretch. It looked like it was going to be 3-1 going back to Oklahoma City. Ultimately, I think the resilience of the Thunder poked through. I think that this is something that's going to ultimately come back and haunt the Pacers in the future because I think they honestly choked away their chance. Choked, as Tyrese Halliburton gave the Knicks in Game 1, away their chance at their first ever NBA championship. You can't have a 4-point lead at home in the NBA Finals down the stretch in front of a raucous crowd and not hold on to it, especially when you don't have that one superstar like Oklahoma City has to go to down the stretch. Because Oklahoma City's got the best player going right now. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, man, unstoppable. You know, SGA. Jokic is probably the best player in the NBA, but right now you can't argue against SGA. He arguably could have had 2 MVPs, not just one. But it's going to be a big Game 5. Big Game 5. The Thunder stepped it up down the stretch. Jalen Williams was terrific throughout, really carried them when SGA was struggling with his offense early. And that's something that that was a question. That was the one question mark for the Thunder that I had going into this series. Pardon me, my throat's a little dry. Was, would Jalen Williams be able to hold up to his all-star mantle, all-star title in this series? Because everyone's like, oh, they don't really have that bona fide 2. I think they've got that bona fide 2. I really do. He's been terrific in the series. Alex Caruso has been terrific in the series, and he's showing why the Lakers should not have let him go. 2 he had 0 20-point games, 0 20-point games in the regular season. He's got 2 in the NBA Finals. And he's been terrific on the defensive end, as the Thunder have been terrific on the defensive end all year. I don't know what else you can say. I think this series is – I picked Oklahoma City in 5, so I was wrong. Unfortunately, I lost some money on DraftKings courtesy of that. We'll get into what's going on with the featured bet in the future here in just a second. Well, probably more than just a second, but wait on until later. But overall, I think Indiana, it's great to see because it's a team by committee. There's not one guy that takes over at any given point. I mean, we had Halliburton and Pascal Siakam have had their moments throughout this playoffs run, but ultimately they don't have that one guy that they can give the ball to when all else fails and say, go get us a bucket. They thought Halliburton was that guy. I've said he's not, and so far he's proven to not be. He's hit some clutch shots in this playoff run, but outside of 2 really complete games, maybe 3, he hasn't produced at that superstar level that some people are trying to put him at. And I've been, pardon my French, hella confused at the notion that he's a superstar because he is not. He's not. I'm sorry. This Pacers team is fortunate to be in the finals. Honestly, they might be the worst finals team I've seen, even though they've won 2 games against an all-time great team since the Miami Heat. And the Miami Heat are a tremendous outlier because since when does an 8 seed, and I believe they were the 5 seed in the bubble, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, when they made the NBA Finals, and I'm a Heat fan, so it pains me to say that, but either time, they probably shouldn't have been at that stage, but they were, thanks to Jimmy Butler, which the Miami Heat drove out of town, but we'll get into that some other day, probably in the distant future. Ultimately, though, as shocked as I was that the Thunder came back and won this game, even though I put money on them and I didn't get the payout because Chet Holmgren got 14 points instead of 15. I'm on a tremendous losing streak, by the way, you all. If you all have some betting tips in the chat, when we get into some live chats here in a second, feel free to throw them in. But the next topic we're going to is what went wrong for the Pacers down the stretch. And what went wrong for the Pacers down the stretch is this guy right here. This guy is not that guy. Tyrese Halliburton. He's not. He's hit some tremendous shots in this playoff run. Tremendous. But I think we're going to end up looking back at this guy, unless he takes that next step forward next year or the year after. We're going to look at more of a Robert Horry, Scottie Pippen, Derek Fisher type of player rather than a Michael Jordan, a LeBron James, heaven forbid, a Kobe Bryant. He's not that guy. He's just not. And I think this series has exposed that right now. Can he be that guy in the future? Sure. He's got the talent. He's got the skill set. He can score at will when he wants to. He can dominate the game, passing, driving, slashing, and dishing. But Tyrese Halliburton, everyone's looking at it from a surface level of, oh, man, he's hit these clutch shots throughout the playoff run, but they haven't really actually watched the games and saw that he's not a superstar. He's a star. But if I compare it to what Paul George proved in the 2013 Eastern Conference Finals, he's a star. He's not that superstar. He's not that guy like Indiana fans made him out to be too back then. And I think this is just another rendition of that. 'Cause I don't think Tyrese Halliburton will ever be the defender that Paul George was or the all-around scorer that Paul George is. Even Paul George now is a better defender than Tyrese Halliburton will ever dream of being. What are we talking about? You have an explanation, chat? Because I don't. People who believed in the Pacers are just believing in them off of some underdog free will. People who don't know the game who are actually picking the Pacers to win this series. I honestly scoff and laugh at all of you because you're all idiots. And I mean that in the most respectful way possible. Because the Thunder are way better than this team. This team shouldn't even be in the NBA Finals. Call me a hater all you want. Call me a doubter all you want. But I know what I see. And I've watched the NBA for more than 15 years now. And I know what I see when I see it. I've covered high-level basketball for more than 6 years as a reporter, day in and day out, at their practices, shoot-arounds, media availabilities, while juggling a full college class schedule. I know what high-level basketball looks like, and the Pacers are a very good team. And I'm happy that they're on this stage. I really am. As a basketball fan, I am happy that they're on the stage. But as an analyst, I know that they're overmatched. And they're lucky. They're lucky that they have 2 wins in this series at this point. Because honestly, it should be 3-1. The Thunder were playing with their food in game 1 and let the Pacers come back and Tyrese Halliburton hit an incredible shot. Taking nothing away from his ability to make clutch shots down the stretch. But Derek Fisher hit clutch shots down the stretch. 0.4 seconds, he hit a turnaround jumper to beat the defending champion San Antonio Spurs in 2004. Is he a superstar? No. Robert Horry. Probably the only reason the Detroit Pistons didn't repeat in 2005. The only reason the Sacramento Kings and Chris Webber didn't make an NBA Finals appearance in, I believe it was 2002. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. Not a superstar. He's got 7 rings. Tyrese Halliburton ain't winning 7 rings. Unless he keeps hopping around from team to team to team to team to team and just somehow keeps signing 1-year contracts for Lord knows how much money. Because he's worth a lot. But what went wrong for the Pacers down the stretch was that guy. They don't have that guy. Pascal Siakam is not that guy. Tyrese Halliburton is not that guy. Maybe he'll prove me wrong in the future. Maybe he will. And I'll happily eat crow on this show and on social media to you all. Because I don't root against him. I love the relationship he has with his father. I wish my dad had the guts to stand up to Giannis Antetokounmpo. Dad, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, but I don't think you want a part of the Greek Freak. I don't. I wish my dad had the courage to step up to that. I love it that the Pacers are in this position because it's a great underdog story, but at the same time, I just don't see it. I don't see this Pacers team as a bona fide championship team without that go-to guy. When was the last time we saw that happen? It was in 2004, the Detroit Pistons. You can sit here and say, oh, the '08 Celtics, they had Paul Pierce. You knew he was going to be the guy that hit the shots down the stretch. 2011 Mavericks, Dirk Nowitzki, same thing. 2019 Raptors, Kawhi Leonard, same thing. You still had at least one guy that was going to get it done down the stretch. The Pacers do not have that guy. Tyrese Halliburton may hit shots, one shot, but I'm not going to give him the ball every possession in a close game in the last 3-4 minutes and expect him to hit a shot every time down the floor. He's just not that guy. He really isn't. And those of you who think that, I mean, sips a little bit of tea. But we're going to get to my favorite part of the show now that topic's over, because I think the Thunder are going to win this series in 6. It could go 7. I'd be happy if it went 7 because we'd have more sports and we'd have a game 7 in the NBA Finals, and we haven't had that in quite some time. But we're going to go in some live chats because we got quite a few to get to. And forgive me while I move this light out of the way. Look and fly, my guy, says SRT Outlaw, which is my twin brother Cody, who's probably my biggest inspiration in life. Thank you. I appreciate it. This outfit was inspired by you. He agrees with what I said. The Pacers are a good team. They just don't have a superstar. That's why they won't win this series. Point blank. It's impressive that they were ahead twice, to be completely honest. I'm blown away. I mean, anyone who's been around me would know I said OKC in 5 even after the game 1 collapse. But he's a leader. You can't say that. What do we define as a leader? I think Pascal Siakam is honestly more of a leader on this team than Tyrese Halliburton, to be completely honest. He's got the championship experience, and he's the guy that they lean on to carry the load. I mean, Tyrese Halliburton hits the last shot, but I don't agree with Skip Bayless in that sense that the last shot defines a basketball player. It doesn't. It just logically doesn't. It has a lot to do with it. Michael Jordan was the guy that got it done for the entirety of the basketball game and hit clutch shots. The knock on LeBron James for a long time was that he didn't get it done down the stretch, even though I think that was a little bit overblown because you look at his career numbers and you look at the tape, he's hit clutch shots. But Tyrese Halliburton just isn't that guy. They're tied 2-2 in the NBA Finals against a 68-win team. Yes, they are. And I think that's mightily because of luck. Like Charles Barkley said in Open Court, and Cody, I think you and I actually watched this episode live back when we were younger. Remember, he said you might get lucky one time, you might get lucky 2 times, but you're not going to beat a team 4 out of 7 times unless you're a better team. I think the NBA is one of the only sports in the world where the best team, aside from a few instances, and I speak directly to 2011, where the best team usually always wins. That doesn't happen in college basketball, college football, single game elimination. It just doesn't happen. Doesn't always happen in the NFL. But you're not going to beat a team 4 times out of 7. Pardon me, in basketball unless you're a better team. The only time that didn't happen was in 2011. The Miami Heat were better than the Mavericks. They should have swept that series. And I'm actually going to have a person on the show in the next few weeks that's going to debate me that claims that the 2011 Mavericks had the greatest finals run in NBA history, and they did not. I'm going to dispel that in a few quick, easy arguments. Cody says that great team is great all around, though. They are. But being a great all-around team doesn't guarantee you a championship. Ask the Miami Heat both times they made it to the NBA Finals in the last 10 years. They ran into the Lakers, who were a great all-around team, but had LeBron, the greatest player of this generation, 1A, 1B, greatest of all time with Michael Jordan. And they had Anthony Davis, who's top 2 in terms of talent. Just availability is the best availability. A team doesn't make it to the finals for no reason. No, you'd be correct in that assumption. But at the same time, luck plays a tremendous factor in teams making it in playoffs. Did anyone think that the Ravens were the best team? We're Ravens fans. Did anyone think we were the best team heading into the playoffs in 2012, 13? No, definitely not. And I do appreciate you being the only live person to watch this, Cody, because we only have one live viewer right now, which is totally fine. We're sitting here building a brand. He said, I said that because you compared him to Pippen and someone else's mindset. I believe he's talking about Tyrese Halliburton right there, because he does come off as more of a Pippen than a Jordan. He comes off as more of a Wade to LeBron. He just doesn't have that mindset, and I don't believe he does. I mean, maybe they'll prove me wrong and win the series, or prove me wrong and take it to 7, but Oklahoma City is a tremendously, tremendously talented team, defensively especially, and defense wins championships. Cody's asking me how when he takes the last shot. And I'm going to go to Cody's comment right before that. I had confidence because Ray came back. And he's talking about Ray Lewis, but I'm going to talk about Ray Allen. Was Ray Allen the best person on that 2013 Heat, best player on that 2013 Heat team? No, he was not. Was Ray Allen the reason they were in that position to take that 3 that he shot and made? No, he was not. The guy that we're about to get into here in a second has that assumption all wrong. And he says LeBron came apart down the stretch in Game 6. He did. I mean, he had a couple bad turnovers. He did. Those were unlike him. We did not expect those, and we were flabbergasted just like he was. But the Heat wouldn't have been in the situation that they were in to even tie that game or force overtime if it wasn't for LeBron. And I'll go to my grave on that. Skip's got that one wrong, and I just gave a pretty good prelude to the next topic in the show, which, yeah, I'll give it to you. He doesn't go completely ISO. He takes a couple of dribbles and he pulls up. I mean, that shot's hella ugly. We'll just go into that. But we're going to go ahead and get into the next topic of the show, which is the one I've been actually looking forward to for a while. So as you all know, that I am an avid fan of Skip Bayless. You guys might, for reasons I can explain to you in person, nobody works harder than this guy, and I've watched him for a long time. Skip Bayless now is doing his own thing, much like I am. And on the Skip Bayless show the other day, he brought up his favorite nicknames that he's ever created, and he's created some damn good ones in his day. Pretty accurate, too. One of those ones that I've monitored closely for a long time because I'm a Baltimore Ravens fan is the nickname he gave former Ravens quarterback Joe Flacco. And I'm not even going to say anything. I'm going to get into the first clip from the Skip Bayless show. If you go ahead and roll that clip for me, and then we will go ahead and react.
Which brings me to Joe Flacco, whom I started calling Joe Fluke-o, because I don't think I've ever seen a quarterback be more average during regular seasons and off the charts all-time great in playoff runs. I've never seen anything like it, but you pay him all this money, and then in regular seasons, he turns out to be Fluke-o.
What else can you really say? Skip reminisced on his greatest nicknames that he's ever made, which includes Russell Westbrook, and, we'll go into et cetera. But the nickname that stuck out for me for the longest time was Joe Fluke-o, because I'm a Ravens fan. And of course, I didn't agree with it for the longest because I was blinded by my fandom for that team. And now that time has gone on and I've become older, wiser, I've gotten into being objective as a reporter when I was one for 6 years. And he was right. Ravens fans, I love you to death. We are the Flock Nation group on Facebook that I'm a part of. I love you all to death. And you can say it's disrespectful all you want. It's true. Joe Flacco, for as good as he was in the later postseason runs the Ravens had, was average in the regular season and honestly cost the Ravens many playoff appearances post-Super Bowl run in 2012-13. Man, that playoff run gives me some of the best memories I've ever had as a sports fan. He was on point, and he had the talent to be on point every single Sunday. He just wasn't. And Skip nails it right on the head. I've never seen a quarterback so average sometimes in the regular season, borderline bad, but be so all-time great in the latter half of his career, because in the early portion of his career in the postseason, he was not good. He was not. Let me put that out there right now. He was not. You can look up the numbers. But beginning in 2011, this guy was something else in the playoffs, and I don't know what happened. It was like someone, like Shannon Sharp said on Undisputed at one point, it was like someone cast a spell on him, and he was just all-time great in the postseason. He really was. The Ravens overachieved in that playoff run largely because of number 5. And number 52, which we'll get into here, which we'll actually get into another day. But he got that one right. And Cody, you're going to appreciate some of these clips that I play, because I'm going to go right into it. His play in the regular season spoke for itself, and it goes with this clip that Skip had on Undisputed back in the day. I'm going to go ahead and play it for you right now.
His average QBR for regular seasons, it's 55.
Yes.
Because he's Fluke-o. And off that playoff run, off beating Colin Kaepernick and the 49ers in the Super Bowl, he became the highest paid player, not quarterback, player in the National Football League. What? That's Fluke-o.
Yes.
I'm sorry. That's funny as hell. I have to admit it, but it's the truth. I mean, that regular season, he had 22 touchdowns to 10 interceptions, and the Ravens were 9-2, despite losing Ray Lewis presumptively for the season, losing Lardarius Webb, who was one of the best cornerbacks in the league at the time, to a torn ACL. But he was the reason. They should have been 10-2. They lost to Charlie Batch and the Steelers at home in a game where they had at least a double-digit lead. I don't know if it was double digits, but they were at least ahead by a touchdown in the fourth quarter at home. With Ray Rice, with Anquan Bolden, with Jacoby Jones and Torrey Smith, this is White, and Dennis Pitta, who was an emerging tight end at the time. Then they lost to the Broncos at home by a gajillion points, in which Flaccoing became a meme because he threw a 100-yard pick six to Chris Harris Jr., and I'll give him credit for trying to chase him down, and I didn't know if he was that damn fast, but what? What? Losing to the Redskins when RG3 goes down practically for the season, and you let Kirk Cousins outplay you down the stretch? Or Kirk Cousins that hadn't even proved himself yet on the big stage? What? The same Joe Flacco that season who had a 0.4 QBR at Houston when the Ravens lost 43-14. No, it was 0.3. And then he had 0.4 at home in that Broncos loss to Peyton Manning. They were lucky to win the AFC North that year when they had one good home win against the Giants down the stretch. But they lost 4 of their last 5 games. And they made the playoffs in spite of number 5. And you can't sit here and call me a hater because I have his jersey hanging in my closet still to this day. Haven't gotten rid of it, even though it's a white away jersey that's riddled with dust stains now because it's so old. And I will not wear it because he's Fluke-o. And I'm going to get into I promise this is the last Joe Flacco clip I have. And Cody, you're going to appreciate this one because I think you and I have turned it into a meme. And this is going back to Skip Bayless's ESPN First Take Days, just to show you that he has been consistent with this nickname. Roll the clip.
I'm here to say that I don't think Joe Flacco is going to be flaunting his money about midseason.
And he damn sure wasn't flaunting his money by midseason that year because the Ravens were 8-8 and didn't make the playoffs after they won the Super Bowl. And they had to give up Anquan Bolden. They had to give up Paul Kruger. They had to give up Demanel Ellery because they fell into the Joe Linta Flacco trap. They paid him all this money. You can't argue against it. He brought you a championship. But his play in the regular seasons never warranted that contract. They made the playoffs one time after they gave Joe Flacco that initial contract. And they extended him again and gave him a $40 million signing bonus in 2016, which was the largest for any quarterback in NFL history at that time. The Ravens took care of Joe Flacco for what he did not do for them after that Super Bowl run. I put my hands up like this like 4 times during this show because I can't think of anything else to do when it comes to Joe Flacco. He wasn't that guy. And Skip, as much as I hate to say it, got that one right. He really did get that one right. For as much as I don't want to say it, he got that one right, which we're going to go ahead and get into the last run of comments before I sign off for the night, because this is going to be a little bit of a short show just because we are going on late, obviously a day late. The last question, and he's referring to one of the Skip Bayless quotes from Undisputed. Was he beyond Joe Montana? That run, he definitely was. 11 touchdowns, no interceptions. Going on the road against Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, then beating the buzzsaw that was Colin Kaepernick in the 49ers at the time in the Super Bowl. With Roger Goodell shutting off the lights for Lord knows how long now. They played the Super Bowl again in New Orleans and the lights didn't shut off. So what really happened? What really happened then? But it's a short show today. It's getting into the dog days of summer. We'll obviously be digging more into topics outside of football and basketball soon. Tennessee baseball finished its season, unfortunately. Couldn't repeat as champions, but fought a valiant fight. Made the city of Knoxville proud. We'll get into more Tennessee sports as football season gets closer and I get my studio set up. This should be the last time that I come to you all live from the kitchen table in my house, but overall, we've reached 20 subscribers on the channel. You all have been supporting me, and I really do appreciate it. Soon we'll have ways you can support the show financially. We'll be doing that on Patreon and whatnot. And also, once we get enough subscribers on YouTube, we will give the super chat option as well. And also, I'll be bringing some guests on. I'll be bringing some childhood guests, some friends. I hope my brother will want to join me because he's been by my side as a sports fan, and he's been, the only one tuning in live to the show, which I appreciate you, Cody. Hopefully, I'm actually thinking of having a section of the show that is devoted to fan responses, where I will allow you all to come on and challenge me on my takes and challenge me on my knowledge. I think it'll make it a lot more fun than it is right now, but overall, another edition of the Cory Sanning Show in the books. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed the content, subscribe, hit that bell button if you want to get notified when I drop my live content and when I actually start getting to the point where I can drop these videos into segments and drop them on social media. So, follow the show on Instagram at Cory Sanning Show. Follow the show on Twitter at Cory Sanning Show. Follow me on social media, my accounts. At Cory Sanning, CORY, S as in Sam, ANNING, in case you didn't know by that down here in the corner. I actually point to it right. But it's going to be a pivotal Game 5. I'm really looking forward to that because past few years, we haven't had NBA Finals that have been that competitive. And we're going to get to see what happens when Oklahoma City's back's against the wall on Monday, and when Indiana has a chance to step on their throat and go home with a chance to close out their first ever NBA championship. So thank you for tuning in. I'm going to sign off for the night. I'm going to go probably enjoy some TV, enjoy some relaxing time with my girlfriend as we try to pick out names for our new puppy. And I will post those names for you all to vote on here soon from the show's accounts. We've got a few in mind. Mostly are Southern and country themed, but one's sports themed. We thought about naming her Raven, so we'll see what happens. But thank you for tuning in, you all. I'm going to sign off for the night. Hope you all have a fantastic weekend. I'm going to be up bright and early tomorrow worshiping at church. So hope you all have a great weekend, and we'll see you all on Monday. Thank you.